Hello and welcome to What's Cooking Rutland. I'm Bethany Yon, part of Rutland's Nutrition Coalition, and I'm also at the Vermont Department of Health, and it's the Nutrition Coalition that brings you this show each month. It is summer, really and truly. We've had a few heat waves, it's here, but we're doing something a little different for our July show. I'm really excited that Grace Davy is back again after our our freezer challenge. I'm like, tripping over my tongue here. See, it does happen. So after our freezer challenge show earlier this winter or late spring, getting ready for farmers market season, we're coming back together again because Grace has an Everyday Chef program on stir fries coming up in just a couple of weeks, depending on when you're watching the show, mid-July. So we're just going to put that out there because some people that will have happened already, but here it is for you instead. Hopefully you can go in person and we'll share more information about that. But it's a really very make your own stir fry recipe.
Yes.
So I have the piece of paper with written instructions to cling to, while Grace just does beautiful things with things that are in front of us. And what's fun about doing stir fry now is we're actually able to work with local produce. It's already here for folks who have greenhouses and such. So we've got some millet cooking, we've got some soba that's going to go into another pot. We're kind of going to do this side by side, so Grace is going to be leading the charge here and I'm going to be just a chopper person next to her and maybe do something a little different with mine. We'll see how it all unfolds.
Yeah.
But maybe we can talk first about our groupings here. We have groups A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3, long, medium, short, however you want to group them in terms of vegetables. So tell us a little bit about the recipe and then we'll start diving into it.
So the groups are based on cooking time. So the first group is the longest cooking time, the ones we want to add first.
I'll leave them right there. Don't touch.
So we've got some really nice zucchinis here, some carrots already peeled nicely, and a gold beet. And we're going to be using the gold one. We have pink ones too, but we're going to make everything pink. This is not an Easter stir fry.
Valentine's Day!
Yeah. And we're going to be grating the beet too, and that'll just kind of cook and get nice and velvety. And then for the second grouping, we've got some really beautiful looking broccoli I'm very excited about.
I'm just going to give it a little twirl here, pretend it's on a turntable.
That is so pretty.
Isn't
and then
it fun?
scallions, some French breakfast radishes.
Oh, they have a fancy name.
I
I didn't know that.
Don't they sound delicious?
They do.
And then some partially thawed corn and some garlic.
Great. And so group 2 is the medium cooking. So the carrots and zucchini and the beet, so those are things that they're in group 1. They're going to go in first because they're going to need more time to cook. This stuff is kind of sort of in between. And then we have 2 bowls of greens that are...
we have some Swiss chard and spinach.
Yep. And those will go in last because they're greens. They're going to be super quick.
Flash cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have the freezer challenge ginger.
Right, that's right. Yay, so exciting. So ginger that was frozen. So we've got a lot of the seasonings kind of scattered all over this kitchen set. We've got greens, we've got beans, and so what?
And the beans are in group 2 cooking.
Oh, okay.
You have to remember
Got
that.
it. So beans, your choice. I love chickpeas, so they would go in the middle here with group 2. So let's dive in. We've got millet cooking. I need to grab a pot holder to check it. And I'm going to, we have dueling pots here. So some shows we have dueling food processors and blenders going. We have dueling skillets that we're going to have going on here. So what do we need to do first to get this going?
Well, we get our oil or butter, whatever you're using, melted and shimmering.
Okay.
So that it's
shimmering. See,
it just
all these new chef vocabulary words like shimmer. Tell me about shimmering.
Well, when it's shiny, that means that it's hot enough. So like if you put it in when it's not quite hot enough, it'll just kind of like sit there in like the cold and it won't caramelize as nicely as when it's hot. So we're just going to get that heated while we prep our veggies, and then our veggies will probably be done by the time that I'm using coconut oil, so that's going to melt. And are you using butter?
What do you think? I mean,
this looks pretty exciting too.
It is. So there's the fun olive oil. I also brought a little bit of sesame oil, and I was thinking that could be fun to either go on now or use it at the end.
Whichever one you want to do. I haven't sauteed with it before.
I have, but I don't. How much do we need? Because there's sesame oil is something you don't use a lot of because it's so strong. So
you could do half and half.
Half and half. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, we'll do a little mixture of some oils here. So yeah, I love that you're going to use coconut oil because of the flavor it's going to add.
Yeah,
it's going to be just a really yummy flavor.
And it cooks for a while. Like I feel like I'm going to be cooking for a while, so I like to use a high heat oil that won't like kind of burn off after a while.
Which is something you have to be careful with olive oil. It doesn't tolerate quite as high heat, so we'll have to be careful with that. So what I love about Grace's recipe, and we will get this up at the website, is that you use the infamous put a glug, you know, Grace's infamous glug of oil or fat into a pan to get going. So sorry, Donna Hunt, we are not measuring, we are glugging today. So let's glug.
Let's glug.
Glug. She's still glugging. So how much are you throwing in there? Wow, are you seeing this, guys? So you need to see what a glug looks like. So that's looking like, you know, 3-ish tablespoons.
Oh, you think it's that much?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take some out.
And I'm just gonna pour to kind of coat the bottom of my pan with some olive oil, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of sesame oil in here.
Okay.
Just because sesame oil is so yummy.
It is. I'll have to try it sometime in a stir fry.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and heat. I'm wondering if I need to heat mine before I start cutting veggies, because you've got your grating things. Let's see. So are we just chopping these vegetables or grating a combination of the zucchini and carrots? And
I really like the way zucchini cooks when it's chopped up. So I like to leave that one chopped. And the carrots, that too. It would be nice to have it chopped for mine. But if you want to do a different, we can see.
Yeah, we can see there's different textures. So yeah, I like chopped zucchini as well. And what's fun is so many of these vegetables are now, you can get them locally. So this is some vegetables. I mean, so you've seen what we've got here. We've got zucchini, beets, carrots, broccoli, corn, scallions. What else, would you put into stir fry, or how do you make your stir fry at home?
I really like a fall stir fry with, like if I grow a lot of winter squash, and so then I'll roast it and freeze it, or I'll just dice it all up and keep them in the fridge, and then I'll just throw a handful of the squash in like the first grouping. Or if it's already roasted and just sitting in the fridge, I'll throw it in the second grouping. But that and kale together and mushrooms,
oh my
that's
gosh,
really good. That's a really good one.
Really, really yummy.
And then you can even like churn a stir fry into a casserole too, and just put it into a pan with some cheese or like breadcrumbs or whatever, and then repurpose it as a casserole, which is like a really good.
I don't think that ever would have crossed my brain to be able to do. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, it's really
good.
So
you did a beautiful job. I was watching you peel that beet. So for me, it's like I'm typically roasting them and then the skins just slide right off. But it was kind of sort of what I think of as the squash method of having a flat surface.
Well, I was thinking about squash.
When you were doing that. So, and it was kind of similar to the way Courtney and I dealt with pineapple last month.
Oh,
so really kind of fun.
That's not the right one. Do you want to use beet too?
Well, if you're grating, you might as well grate the whole thing, and then I'll maybe borrow that grater and I'll grate up some carrots just to kind of see. And I can smell the coconut oil. It smells fabulous.
I know. Can you turn it down a bit, actually?
I can. Go in the right direction to turn it down and not turn it up. I'm going to check on the millet. And so we've got some different grains happening here as well. So we've got millet that I'm going to turn off because it is definitely ready to go.
Really good.
It smells good. So that's cooked up really nicely that we're going to add in. We're going to do soba noodles. But so this is kind of fun to do something a little different than just your standard brown rice, or rice kind of thing. So to mix up the grains can be really interesting. All right, send that over here, and I'm going to do some carrot. And it doesn't matter if it's mishmash together because they're both in group one rather. So you're doing a class on stir fries. So folks are going to be doing this in class.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of different veggies there, and it's a free workshop. But I do want people to sign up since it is free to get a head count. And it's all being paid for by the Brandon Congregational Church, which is really nice.
Oh, how nice.
And it's also a WIC approved activity.
Oh, super.
So
Okay.
if you're looking for that.
As is this show, which you'll see a WIC code a little later on. We're not going to throw it out there quite yet. You have to watch a little longer.
But yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not sure yet. Hopefully there'll be like a few early tomatoes, and that would definitely be like a topping group, not even a cooking group. And yeah, I'll have some noodles. I'll have some different grains and some different nuts, like for a crunchy topping.
Yep.
And we'll just talk about, let people kind of pick their own flavors. I'll have some different like dried herbs and spices, so you can make it like an Italian style one.
Fun.
Or like,
so is like everybody going to have a little skillet in front of them, or is this groups are going to have to come to some sort of agreement about what they're putting in?
it depends on how many people sign up, I think.
Okay.
I have like 5 stations. So
That's
if it's
a lot
like
of
a family,
stations.
because it's definitely designed for kids too, and like teaching kids chopping skills. So you know, if like a kid comes with a guardian, they can cook together.
I love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, I need to heat up my oil.
Yeah, this is a lot of oil.
I need to be able to keep up, or I'm going to be in trouble. So giving this a little swirl. It's not swirling, I think, quite as well as you want it to do. And yeah, Grace's chopping skills, like, don't even look at my knife skills today. Everything should be over there because she is queen of using a knife. So which is fun always for me to then be alongside to kind of see what's going on over there. And it's one of the things that you'll be teaching when you're doing this workshop is really some of those knife skills.
That's the priority.
All right, ready? We are going to throw... Oh, I can smell the sesame oil.
Oh, you can? I'm like in coconut land over here.
So in go, I am just, shredded carrot is just kind of messy, so chopped carrot might have been a better deal, but that's the path I went down, so here we go. So it's fun that you have coconut oil in there because we're also going to be putting in some coconut milk. So, you know, it's kind of going to be double the flavor. And we're each using, I've got a nonstick pan, you've got a regular pan. Is that what you use at home, or do you do this in a wok?
I use any kind of pan. Lately, we don't have any hot water in my house.
Oh, geez.
So I've been using one of these that I can put in the dishwasher. So yeah, definitely.
And how cooked do these need to be, because they're going to continue to stay in this pot, in this pan for a little bit?
Yeah, I'd say just softened.
Okay.
Would be fine. Do you want some beet?
Sure.
Or are you going to add yours too?
Yep, go right ahead. Toss in. Pretty. And there's like no measurements here. We're just throwing in.
Well, it was 1 carrot and 1 zucchini.
1 carrot, 1 zucchini. They come in different sizes, but really, you know, it's kind of that classic of you just don't need to measure the vegetables. Use what you want.
Yeah.
Grace is going to salt hers. We're not going to salt mine over here.
You want soy sauce?
Yeah, because there's going to be, even though that's a less sodium soy sauce, there's going to be plenty of salt in this. Are we going to add that now?
Whenever you, I like to layer the flavors.
So this is where it's layering the flavors. So we've started our vegetables. That was step number 1 with our long cooking vegetables. And now we're layering flavor on top. So which flavors? So you did salt.
I did salt and pepper.
We're going to add a little, I'm going to throw a little soy sauce over here.
Bethany brought a great smattering. It's definitely going to add some cumin, and I like to add a lot of cumin.
I love
cumin.
Yep. Yeah, I have no idea how that's pronounced. And we're not measuring these, but you could, depending on your family's taste. I also love cumin. There's turmeric, which is fun. It'll give it a nice bright yellow color. What else did I have over there? Paprika.
Did you want some of that too, or not?
Sure, because I do.
Here, I'll bring them all over.
Yeah, in the middle. So I just kind of emptied my pantry. Coriander, if you need a little heat, red pepper. So we just have a lot of different things. So we're going to mix this in. And then we go into veggie group number 2, which is what's in the middle here.
Yeah, once we just get them all nicely coated, they can sit and cook while we get the second group prepped. And the recipe that we're going to post online too has a whole bunch of different veggies. So if you have stuff in your fridge that you want to clean out, you can just find the group that it goes in.
Right, and that I think is the key. I mean, a lot of times when I am doing stir fry at home, it is what is in my refrigerator that needs to be cleaned out. So I love this concept of groupings. So I need to have some broccoli because, you know, it's like amazing that we have broccoli already. So I'm just gonna cut this into some pieces, I guess, huh? It's been washed.
And you know, you can even save the leaves for like a group 3 too, if you have a bunch of leaves.
Oh, I love it. I don't think I would ever have thought about that. I'm always into being sure you use the stalk and the stem, but the leaf I hadn't thought about. And so you called these French...
That pretty little flower.
Yeah.
French breakfast.
French breakfast radishes.
It's like a mild radish that actually cooks really, really well. Like it's sauteed in butter. It's really delicious.
Ooh.
Anything
so it's a little
sauteed
milder.
in butter.
Yeah, anything sauteed in butter or olive oil is going to be absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Vegetables. So the corn is going to go in here. Garlic is going to go in here now, right?
Yes.
Or did we miss our
we
window
can do
with garlic?
No, we can definitely add. Yeah, you don't want garlic to sit in the pan too long.
Too long, right, because it'll get brown and burnt.
That is if you like garlic.
Who doesn't like garlic? I'm going to
Oh yeah, I kind of, you know what, I'm going to save these for the third group, the florets.
Okay. Because they're going to go fairly quickly.
I love broccoli. Yeah, I don't want them to cook too much. I do throw my stems in.
So a lot of times recipes call for minced garlic, but I really just like garlic, so I rarely cut it teeny, teeny, tiny.
I love that.
Is
That's fantastic.
that an issue?
No, that makes me happy.
Yay. It's just like throw that garlic in.
Yeah.
I want to see it and taste it. All right, I'm going to end up throwing some of my broccoli in now and see what happens. And corn can go in here, right?
Yes.
So we've got some corn. So this is frozen corn. Once it's corn seasoned, even better just to throw some in raw. And the little bit of moisture actually is going to be good because my pan's getting a little dry.
And you could cook your millet in your corn cob with water and make like a corn stock and cook your grains in that.
All right.
That would be
Say
so
that
good.
again. That came out, that was really exciting, but it like went by
crazy.
way too fast. So corn cob.
Yeah, so if you are prepping your veggies, like before you start your stir fry, you could just take your corn off the cob, put it in a bowl, and then put your cob in a pot of water. Let it boil that you're going to put your grains in.
Yeah.
And then when you strain off your grains, the cob will stay with the strainer. But it will give it a nice, sweet, like velvety flavor.
So kind of sort of making your own stock using vegetable stock using corn, the corn cob. I love it. Oh, this is
It's like a
really
bonus flavor.
Fun. This is really looking pretty.
I got one big piece in here that's driving me crazy. I'm gonna have to take that out and eat it.
Okay, and chop that up afterwards.
Oh yeah, I guess I could do that too.
So next is going to be another layer. WIC code up there. We talked about this being a WIC approved activity. So if you or your family or someone else that you know is participating in the WIC program, watch us on TV or online and then call that code into your local office, and that will then get you going for another 3 months, your WIC nutrition activity. So you kind of can almost like double dip with this particular program. You can watch it online, and then you can also, which you can anytime, because when it's online, you know, this is then there forever. So do this in August, but you can go to Grace's class, and that's an in-person approved activity.
That's right.
All right, so what's next? Beans.
Beans. Actually, I think I'm going to throw my soba in first before I throw my beans, but you should do your beans.
Okay,
maybe.
so Grace is doing soba noodles, which is really fun, and they're not even going to get cooked. You're just putting them right into the pan.
Yes. Well, I'm going to cook them with a little bit of broth and some coconut.
Okay, that you're going to throw in there. So I just had I threw a can of chickpeas in here because everybody knows that I'm all about canned beans. They just get rinsed really well, so to deal with the sodium issues. Is there another layer of seasonings that I should be adding on top of this?
I just kind of repeat what I've added before if I want, or Like if you have dried herbs, it's a good time to add them now. It's like garlic, you don't want them to sit too long.
Right. So that means I have to remember what I put in before, which was cumin. I remember that.
So I'm just throwing my bouillon in.
Oh, this is really interesting. So the soba noodles, some bouillon. My bouillon isn't going, oh, my bouillon went there, duh, to cook the millet. Got it.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna throw in
And
some
so
of this.
the millet, I could just add the cooked millet right to this, right? You just added coconut milk.
We were gonna compare.
I know we were, but you can. So if you can get an overhead shot of this thick coconut milk, Grace and I were having a conversation. Hers is the full fat, full regular coconut milk.
That's right.
Now you're going to see Bethany pour something that's way more watery looking into my pan. Oh my gosh. Very, very different product. But it has, if you're concerned about how much fat you're consuming or calories, then this lighter coconut milk, it's far more watery, which, you know what, in many respects, because that olive oil had less fat in here, I needed a little bit more liquid. I'm just trying to justify it for myself here, Grace.
I was saying, if you want a luxurious stir fry, that'll fill you up all day.
There you go, right. And just even looking at the quality of what's going on in both pans is really amazing. So mine is much thinner, and Grace, if you just like move a spoon through it so people can see, really thick and creamy. There's a very big difference between these two pans. But if you compare, so hand over that can though. Now we have to do the nutrition part.
Okay.
So the nutritionist has to come out. So the ingredients are the same. So we're trying to figure out that perhaps they just skim off some of the fat, some of the coconut oil, so to say, from this, because the ingredients are no different. But for a third of a cup serving, you basically, in the light version, have half the number of calories and half the amount of fat. So a third of a cup, 120 calories, a third of a cup, 50 calories, and the fat goes from 11 grams to 4.5 grams. So depending on what nutrients are of concern to you, because fat may not be of concern to you, then you can make your choice. And this gourmand chef next to me is all about having creamy texture that it becomes a sensory experience. So
exactly.
But we did our little nutrition speak, so there it is.
Everyone's different.
Everyone is different, exactly. So I could go ahead and throw my cooked millet in here now, right? Or should I wait?
Yeah, I would let it cook down a little bit more because it's always nice to have like a thicker thing you could
So there's a little bit more water that has to come out of this. And then what happens is we're going to add our final layer of greens. And so these couple of little pieces of broccoli stem I can work into that. This is exciting. So you're adding, those are toppings.
Yeah,
that
making
you're working
some toppings. Do you want garnishes, radish garnishes for yours, or?
Go ahead and make some garnishes
Okay.
and we'll be ready to go. Yeah, once this cooks down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all about
And so for me, there are so many things that I'm excited about with this particular recipe or this format, but one of the ones I was chatting with folks beforehand is a lot of times the stir fry sauce is for whatever crazy reason intimidating to me. I have no idea why I have some sort of innate fear of cornstarch. It's like ridiculous, but Bethany and cornstarch are not always best of friends.
No, I get that.
And thank you.
Yeah.
I know you're making me feel
cornstarch free.
Okay, you're making me feel really good because but this doesn't use that. So we just seasoned and letting the liquid cook down. Full fat coconut milk, obviously much thicker and beautiful. That's in there. It's the faux cornstarch versus mine that doesn't. But this is really just throwing things into a pan and seasoning. So that's one of the things that I'm really loving about this recipe, because the timing of that, and do I get the proportions right, and is it
doesn't
gonna
matter.
So it doesn't, it's a complete non-issue here. So thank you for this fabulous
I hope
template,
you like
so to
it.
say.
Yeah.
So, all right, what else are we adding here in the final stretches? We still have several minutes. We're good.
I can
your
start
beans
prepping
have
the greens.
your beans haven't gone in because you're waiting for your
I didn't want
soba.
them to get too soupy in there.
And so the beans, it could be anything. It's whatever you want. Like I love chickpeas in a stir fry kind of thing.
Yeah, and even if you have meat already cooked, like a rotisserie chicken or steak, you can just kind of add that, like heat it up in a pan, and then just throw it on top too. So it's really easy to to kind of just look at what you have in your house.
And go with that.
Same thing with like eggs, like whatever I have in the leftovers, like make it into an omelet.
Yes,
you know?
yes, exactly.
You could make a stir fry omelet even.
Yeah, you certainly could. You certainly could. So yeah, so I love that it's pretty much any vegetable. We have these groupings of things that take the longest to cook, things that are medium to cook, and then things that are quick. What do you?
I forgot garlic.
You forgot your garlic.
Can't believe that. I know.
We got distracted by coconut milk,
Yeah.
so I will fully accept responsibility for that one. This is smelling wonderful, and this is actually starting to thicken up a little bit more. It may not be quite as creamy as yours, but it's getting there.
It does look really nice and creamy though.
It's looking all right. It's looking all right. So I'm gonna take the lid off of this millet.
I'm gonna check out the noodle situation. Yep, see the great thing about Soba Noodles
it's quick.
is that they're a nice sweet buckwheat noodle and they like take 2 minutes,
Yeah, really yummy. So, and I'm gonna just scrape this millet. So millet isn't a grain that I work a ton with, I'm embarrassed to say, but there it is out for everybody to hear.
It looks good. It looks like you cook it all the time.
No. So tell me about millet, since this isn't one that I'm familiar with.
It's just one of those ancient grains, and it's got just as much protein as quinoa. People are always talking about quinoa.
Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't, quinoa has a very distinctive grassy kind of flavor, and millet is like kind of buttery and mild, and I think it's like better than rice. I really like it a lot.
Well, I'm excited because in our household we're getting a little tired of quinoa. Sorry for those of you who
Yeah,
are
it
quinoa
happens.
fans,
It happens.
but we're getting a little tired, so I'm excited to branch out and try something different. And I love the little pebbly nature of it. You know, it didn't fall apart when it went in here.
And it's so great, like I always keep extra on hand. Like if I cook millet, I'll make a bunch and then I'll throw it on salads.
Right.
I really like grains on salads.
So do I.
You can mix it with egg and cheese and make little like patties with it.
Ooh, fun. And then to this then, we're gonna top off with some greens. Do you break greens apart or just put them all in big leaves?
The chard I would cut up a bit.
Or I'm just gonna tear?
Yeah, yep. And another nice topping, which I didn't bring, but I really like, is like toasted cashews in a pan.
Ooh,
like for that crunch.
really
I brought some
yummy.
pumpkin seeds, but
Really yummy.
that's a really good.
Some spinach in here.
Yeah. Can you pass me some chard too, please?
I am happy to pass the bowl of chard.
I know what would happen if I reached over.
Yeah, exactly. It would not be good. It's always a little dangerous doing that here. So yeah, so all these local greens. So these are just gonna go in just to their wilted. If anybody wanted to add a little bit more heat, I think this is when I would add crushed red pepper to it, if anybody's into the heat. So this is just gonna take not even a minute to wilt in this pan. And wow, I'm just looking at the side by side of these. They look so different, even though we really kind of sort of did the same thing. So that's really kind of fun that they're this mishmash. And
oh, my beans.
I'm thinking if anybody had like a ginormous kitchen, you could just kind of line up a bunch of pans and everybody could make their own.
Well, that's what's going to be happening on July 14th.
On July 14th. I know, I just think it's like, it's kind of, this is feeling like, you know, the make your own pizza night at home where everybody has their individual pizza. This is feeling like the same thing with a stir fry. Just kind of line up your groupings of vegetables, your seasonings, throw whatever grains you want. I'm going to turn off the heat. And these are beautiful. Grace, thank you.
These
we
are beautiful.
did it. We came, we conquered, we stir fried, we have two very different looking products when you see them here. And I need to get a spoon to dive into this because it looks absolutely amazing. Ready? Here we go.
Watch your mouth.
I know. I don't want to burn myself, but oh God, this looks so yummy. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, yum. I love the crunch of the millet in there. It's really good.
Oh, good.
Yay. Cool. Thanks, everybody.